be selfless about helping the pollinators, do your homework, and also they're not pets. I look like crap because I just came in from doing the animals and I started crying because oh my god. It's a eastern tiger swallowtail. I saw the first monarchs of the season today, but I saw one of these guys the other day and I just found him in the chicken coop. And oh my god. I'm going to see if Hims is hungry. Are you hungry? Do you want the orange? He said, no, I don't want the orange. I want the chicken poop. That's why I was in there. His wings are pretty messed up, but he's got one little tail. You want that, buddy? No? Not enticing? Okay, that's fine. Holy crap, look at how like iridescent his tail is though. Let me not get the crappy floor in the background. Wow. Wow. Hey little buddy, happy butterfly season. Too bad I don't look cuter right now or I'd take pictures with you. I still might take pictures anyway. Can you climb on my nose? Oh, thank you. Oh, look, it's a swallowtail on the face. Oh, where you going, buddy? I'm literally freaking out. I've been wanting... Oh, you freaking out too, buddy? I've been wanting a swallowtail so bad. Let's go show Mom. Oh. Wow, okay. Oh. Uh-oh, where'd you go? Oh, okay. And stay there for the ride? Let's go show Mom. Don't you go anywhere, buddy. Okay, here's the hard part. Hey, Mom. Can you mute the TV? I'm videotaping. I have a surprise guest. Are you ready to come in? Do you see the guest?
Are you kidding me?
I cried.
OMG. And it's just sitting there? It's not even...
He was in the chicken coop.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know. His wings are pretty messed up, but he's still got one tail. He's a lot smaller than I thought he was gonna be. For some reason, like, I guess it's just because I've never held a swallowtail. I've seen swallowtails in person, but I guess for some reason I was expecting it to be huge compared to a monarch, but it's...
God, he's beautiful.
It's really close in size. So, you guys know what this means.
OMG.
Butterfly videos are coming.
It's beautiful. Look at the color.
Oh, you have to see it in the light. Oh, hold on.
The light will make it startled, or...
Look at the tail in the light. See the light?
Is that
like
cool
the color?
with the light coming through?
You are so cool. I don't want to let him go, but it'd be cruel to keep him. Okay, we got a slight issue. My boy's flying in circles. I don't know if it's okay. Come back. Oh no. Whew. Gotcha. This is the coolest nose ring I've ever had. Oh, uh-oh. Here we go again. Oh. Solid. I don't want to let you go. But let's go. It's not goodbye, it's see you later. I should probably give you a name before sending you off, right? I think I'm gonna call you Coop, because that's where I found you. Here we go. Into the night. Just me and my buddy. You go and be great. Oh, uh-oh. You go and do great things, Coop. Go on. Go on, buddy. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Go on, buddy. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Now you can really see his underwing colors. Whoa. Alright, buddy. Be free. I'm gonna set you down on this wheelbarrow, and you do whatever you want to do. Oh, it's cold. Put you on this piece of wood. If you want to stay there, you can. Oh, you okay? You alright? Okay. If you want to sleep there tonight, that's fine. You good there, buddy? I'll see you in the morning, maybe? Okay. Good night. So it's the next morning. I already let like all the farm animals out, and when I did, our butterfly friend had flown away, but my mom just called me and said that he has returned. So let's go see. Hey buddy. Whoa, why do you look more beat up than when I had you? Buddy, what did you get yourself into? It's okay. Come here. Oh, buddy. Oh no, his tail's like coming off. It's okay, buddy. Come here.
Yeah, he looks pretty tattered now.
He doesn't even want to hold on.
That's what I said. So, I mean, it'd be worth saving if he's not going to make it.
See, he's not even holding on.
I mean, how often do you find one, right?
I'm gonna take him inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so update. I thought our boy wasn't doing well because it's been a few hours and he hadn't moved. But he just started moving around, so I'm gonna cut up this grapefruit and see if he's hungry. Okay, there you go, buddy. And I found out Coop is a girl, so. I'm very sad to announce, in the past few hours, our friend Coop didn't make it. She is no longer with us. But there is some good news. While I was at the market, my brother called me and told me he found another one. Ta-da! I hate when they climb on my eye. Oh, okay. Okay. This girl is much more lively. Okay, this butterfly is literally insane. So we're gonna take you outside and put you on some honeysuckle. Because I Googled, and that's what... How are you gonna... You can't get through, you goof. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're not gonna be able to fit through the... A ninja, a true ninja. All right, let's go get some honeysuckle. If he lets me. Oh, I should say. Look at, if my screen was open, she would have been saying goodbye. Which I'm not trying to keep her longer than she wants to be. Probably just gonna fly off my hand as soon as we get outside, but. Oh, now you're just chilling, huh? Okay, so this is where we're at. I don't know if you can even see him. It's her. She decided to fly to the back of my head. Down, okay. Come here, you goof. Oh, okay. Alright. We're outside. You don't have to hang out with me anymore. Okay, so I thought these were honeysuckles over here, but they don't really look like it. But want to go on a flower? No? Okay. Want to go on a flower? Oh, come on. It's not enticing at all? Okay. I don't know what kind of flowers you like. This is fine. This is normal. What about these? You like these? What do you think about those? Anything? No? Not hungry? I don't know what to do with you. Okay, so we finally got her onto a flower, but it doesn't look like that's one that you care to drink out of, huh, picky miss? Okay, she finally flew off. There she goes. Nobody can see her. Bye! You can't see her. Okay guys, so a few little notes I'd like to make on the footage you just saw, as well as I wanted to answer a lot of the questions you guys had in the comments from my Raising Monarch Butterfly videos. But I have gotten like over 100 subscribers from that video in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, so thank you guys very much and welcome to the channel. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull up the comments. But first, just like a few statements that I want to make that I should have been much more clear in enforcing in the first video. Yeah, so the main reason that I do this and why other people should do this is the monarchs have been in a rapid decline over the past few years, and so that is the intent of doing this. Not to get the pictures, not to get the footage, not to get anything, you know, none of that. And so if you're thinking about doing this just for the purpose of getting pictures, there's a lot of work that goes into getting that butterfly. If you don't do all of those steps and care for the caterpillars and chrysalises the way they need to be, you won't get those butterflies. It's just that simple. Do lots of homework. The video I posted was mostly just to show how I raise butterflies. It really wasn't intended to be a tutorial of the only way or the best way or any of that. It's just with the homework that I have done over the past now, wow, 1.5 years, 2 years that I've been raising butterflies. That was just the best knowledge that I had to share. So yes, be selfless about helping the pollinators, do your homework, and also they're not pets. That should probably be up there as the first main point. But butterflies, pollinators, caterpillars, they're not pets. The monarch butterflies have a very short lifetime. It varies. Some butterflies can live up to like 6 months, I believe, but the monarchs, a max they're gonna live is a month. And in that time, they need to be out and pollinating and laying as many eggs and all that good stuff as much as they can in that life that they have, so that the species can continue to exist. So if you so much as keep one butterfly for your own selfish reasons or whatever, try to keep it as a pet and don't let it out into the world, or at least have the proper establishment for it to thrive, meaning if you don't have food, a host plant, you know, a safe place for them to lay their eggs and the caterpillars to live, if you aren't planning on doing all of those steps as well to help continue the species to thrive, then don't do it. These are very important to keeping the world turning. Bees are more important. Bees do a lot more pollinating, but butterflies are very important, and they're not pets. Do not keep them. Do not... Are you guys following? You getting what I'm saying? And so I wanted to reiterate all these things from the first video and from the footage that you just saw today, because I did take in... Okay, so it's... I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, because I did take the butterfly back in from outside and put it in my pop-up tent and try and help it. The butterfly, I promise, it might not seem like it, but it died very quickly. I did not do anything to try and keep it for my own purposes, but I do have him up in my closet up there. I'm gonna hold off on doing anything with him for now. when I was in Florida and raising monarchs, about a year ago when I made the first video you saw, I did have a butterfly die of a parasite, but it did emerge from its chrysalis, and so I had that butterfly that had passed as well, and I really wanted to put it like in some resin and do something really nice with it to keep it preserved alive forever, if you will. But when I moved back up to Rhode Island, I didn't have a safe way of transporting it, so I don't have that anymore. But I want to keep him, our swallowtail, her, and throughout the season, if that is to happen again with any of the monarchs, I want to keep them and try and maybe make something nice and big and beautiful out of the deceased butterflies. I feel like I'm starting to ramble a bit and starting to get all over the place, but I'm just trying to cover the main points. I should have written these down, but another thing is, do not keep the butterflies for art. Don't do that. There's enough like fakes and toys and like plastic remakes that you can buy. But if you happen to find a butterfly that is deceased, I've been at butterfly gardens a handful of times and found a dead butterfly just hiding under, you know, a garden bed. So yeah, just don't raise butterflies for art, because that's wrong. We need them to pollinate and do their job. Once they are deceased, then you can do so. Oh, the one last thing I wanted to cover before I start getting into the questions, which I think this will also cover some of the questions that you guys have had. I don't remember if it was an Instagram message or a comment on this video, but someone had asked, do the butterflies just go dormant during the winter? No. In the fall, I believe it's September, they will start to head south and head to Mexico. The butterfly that leaves north here isn't going to be the same butterfly that makes that journey all the way to Mexico. They'll stop across the maps and lay eggs, and those butterflies in turn will continue the journey until they're in Mexico and happily living there until they migrate back. When I filmed that first butterfly video, I was living in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and I had been raising butterflies for about a year at that point, but I had moved to Florida and started raising Florida butterflies. What I learned there from going to different butterfly gardens and talking to other scientists and stuff is apparently the monarch butterflies in Florida do not migrate. So no matter what time of year it was when I was living down there, I believe it was like early March when I, might have even been February, that I started filming my how to raise monarch butterflies, or how I raise monarch butterflies video. That's a very important definition. It's not how to, it's how I. So yeah, so apparently the butterflies in Florida do not migrate south like they do here. Currently I'm living in Rhode Island, and I hadn't run into as many problems when I was raising them here versus in Florida. And I figured out that's because in Florida, the butterflies there are subjected to a lot more predators. So there isn't really like a dormant period. It's just depending on the weather and your location, you're gonna find monarchs different places, different times a year. So unfortunately, that's why I haven't been able to make any butterfly videos in the past couple months, because I moved back from Florida to Rhode Island in October, which was right after the monarchs had left here and headed the other way. So finally, they're starting to come back to the area. It's a little later than I was expecting because it's still kind of cold here, but we do have the swallowtails, obviously. I did spot some monarchs, so yeah, I think that's it. On to the questions. Here's one. My baby brother, did his head just come off at 8:47? So yes and no. When the monarchs form their chrysalis, that's what this comment's referring to, is when they like bunch themselves up into that chrysalis form. They almost like, I want to say like a snake, kind of shed that outer layer of skin, and so that's what you're seeing is that like the stripes that are on them, that that outer layer of skin has the stripes on it, and it kind of just bunches up, and then the skin does come off the head, and I believe the antennas might even come off too. But yeah, so all of that skin gets pushed to the end and then pushed off the body, so it looks like it's kind of just a big head, but it's the skin from the entire body. Did the little guy with the parasite make it? I did respond to his comment on here, and some of you other guys were responding to the comments here, but unfortunately not. There was one with a parasite where all of a sudden there was just like a string coming out of the bottom of the chrysalis, and I found out that was a certain type of fly, and nothing came from that, nothing emerged from it. It just stayed a chrysalis for a really long time, and unfortunately we had to get rid of it. Now looking back, I wish I had put it in some sort of resin instead of just disposing of it, but I'm learning every time, you know? You just gotta learn. No one asked much about the parasites, but one little tip I'm gonna say is when you are out looking for caterpillars to rehome, if you will, and take home and put in your enclosure, the better chances you will have of not dealing with a parasite will come from if you find a smaller caterpillar. So most of the parasites happen and will happen out in the wild. It's kind of rare that you'll get a parasite when you're taking care of them at home. Usually if you bring home a older caterpillar, it could potentially already be infected with a parasite. So the caterpillars grow in 5 instars is what it's called, and that just determines the sizes and the stages of growth. So if you were to get a caterpillar in the first instar, which is when it's at its youngest and very small, they're harder to find. They are findable. I have found them very tiny, and they are significantly at a less chance of already being infected by a parasite. When the caterpillars are in their 4th or 5th instar, which is when they're bigger and almost ready to go into the chrysalis, they have been out munching on leaves in the wild for I think it's 7 to 9 days, sometimes like 2 weeks, something like that. They have been out there subjected to all different kinds of flies, bugs, you know, all different kinds of parasites. And so those were the situations where I think there was just 3 times, and I say just like it's not enough. 3 is more than enough times, and I really hope I never deal with a parasite again. I think there was just 3 times that I dealt with parasites, and I remember that they were all from caterpillars that I got that were closer to the 4th or 5th instar. So yeah, your best chances of helping the caterpillars and butterflies to thrive is finding them when they're really small and keeping them in an enclosure where other bugs and flies and stuff can't get into them and interfere and infect them. Comment says, I thought one of them was having a pair of blue wings, but they came out to be so pretty and healthy, and that's all that counts. Yeah, so when the chrysalis, this is what they're referring to, is when the chrysalis has been formed and the butterfly is just about ready to emerge from it after the like 7 to 9 day period, whatever it is, you'll actually be able to tell that your butterfly is ready to emerge when the chrysalis begins to change color. So it'll go from a nice green color slowly turning into like a blue and purple, because the black and orange wings become visible through that green chrysalis, and it gives off a really cool color until eventually it turns black. When it turns black, that means you will have yourself a monarch butterfly in like 12 to 24 hours. So it might even be shorter than that. I feel like it's shorter than that. So hey, I was just wondering what months would it be best to collect caterpillars and release them? So that 100%, like I said prior, depends on your location. So if you're up north, you know, Rhode Island, New Jersey, New Hampshire, you know, the northern East Coast kind of area, you're gonna have to wait until, like, I haven't even seen any monarch caterpillars yet this year. I've only seen one butterfly so far, and I'm filming this on June 10th. But it varies every year because some years it's warmer earlier and some years it's colder later. So unfortunately I don't have a very specific answer for that. I know the monarchs usually migrate from Mexico. I believe it's like early March, and so they'll get here around June, July. And then to release them, so you're not going to release caterpillars. Please don't. You're going to want to wait and keep them until they turn into butterflies, and releasing them is so very essential. Almost as soon as they emerge from their chrysalis is very important. You don't want to force a butterfly outside, and especially if it's a rainy day like it is outside for me right now, you do not want to force them into the rain or anything like that. When the butterflies first emerge from their chrysalis, they're going to need at least 2 to 3 hours to really pump fluid into and out of their wings and get them dry from the chrysalis, because they do become wet inside that humid little chrysalis, and they're pumping like blood and fluid throughout their body, throughout their wings, and you know, coming into the world. So don't rush them, but never keep a butterfly longer than 24 hours. Because that first 24 hours is super, super important for their life. They need to get out there and feed and mate in those first 24 hours. Otherwise, they're going to be super low energy and not be able to perform the way they need to help our planet. Oh, this one came in 3 hours ago. Hey, I have a question. I've got a small tortoiseshell butterfly, only 2 in chrysalis now, but it's all rain and cold weather for the next 3 weeks, so do I release them or keep them? Oh, kind of like I just said. So I'm not sure your location or how you acquired these caterpillars. If you got them from outside in your garden, I don't think I've ever even seen a tortoiseshell butterfly. If you got them from, you know, locally, you found them, it should be fine. Even though it's going to be cold weather for the next few weeks, it should be fine as soon as it's, you know, not too rainy, that they should be able to go out and find shelter and food and all that stuff, and that they should be able to thrive if they, you know, if they've already put themselves there. If they are ones that, I know there's a few, like, websites and kids kits that you can send out for caterpillars. Like an at-home raising kit where they send you food and all that stuff. If that's the case, I really hope those kits are more like knowledgeable and just don't send them to any part of the country any time of the year. But if that is the case, or, you know, something along those lines, that it's just you can't release them, it should be okay to keep them, especially I think you said 2, that you only have 2 of them. You'll just need to find or improvise a food source for them, whether it be a flower or some sugar water, and you'll just need to give them like a plant and some, it's probably best to figure out what the host plant for a tortoiseshell butterfly is, and maybe if you can buy one of those at your local garden shops, and kind of have an enclosure so that if they emerge, the 2 chrysalises emerge to be a male and a female, then that way they can mate and continue to lay eggs, and so then that way when the weather gets better you can release them. Yeah, that's kind of a tricky question. Someone said I'm scared of butterflies. I don't know why I'm watching this. And that butterflies are harmless, except the fact that I said they do like to eat poop. I have seen a lot of butterflies. They also like rotting fruit. I've seen a lot of butterflies like sitting on top of a pile of bird poop, so that's also something to keep in mind. I found the swallowtail inside my chicken coop, trying to get some poop. So if you are gonna put them on your face like me, just be aware of things like that. You might wanna, I don't know, wash your face after. One more question says, I was just wondering where you get milkweed. I can't find it anywhere. Unfortunately, some parts of the country, it's not as easy to find a already grown plant like I had in that video. I was in Florida and that was a more tropical milkweed. The milkweeds that grow native, I don't know if they're actually native. The milkweeds that grow here in Rhode Island, hi sweetie, are different from the ones that I was using down in Florida. Personally, when I was in Florida, I found that milkweed at a specific garden shop that they had like an area for pollinators. I couldn't find anything at Home Depots or anything like that when I was in Florida, and actually same in Rhode Island. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find milkweed plants. They're not as easy as just going out and buying a tomato plant, I guess. So I don't know, maybe ordering seeds online if you can't find them locally might be a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. But just call around to all your local garden shops because depending your location, there's got to be some shop with them. And the next question is, what type of milkweed did you use? And I responded to this. I think it was called a yellow milkweed. I don't 100% remember, but I think it's a yellow milkweed. And like I said, it's a more like tropical. The leaves are much thinner, whereas the milkweed that grows here in Rhode Island, big old fat juicy leaves. And so you don't have to worry about getting them as much food as often. Because if you're someone who is raising caterpillars and you can't afford to necessarily go out and buy a milkweed plant, mine was only $5, but with that one, it was small and you could only have so many caterpillars at a time because they would just eat the milkweed out of house and home. But unlike that one, the ones here in New England have big old fat leaves. So, I don't know where I was going with this, but me editing here, the train of thought that I lost was if you are going to find a milkweed out and about and pull leaves from them to feed your caterpillars, if you can't afford to go and buy a plant, if you're going to be getting ones with small leaves, make sure you get a lot, or try and find milkweeds with the big old fat juicy leaves. That was the point that I was trying to get at. Okay, on with the program. You always want to make sure your caterpillars have a large amount of food. I'm just now realizing how funny this comment is. It's from a month ago. It says, who be watching in 2020? Because yeah, all the views on this video started coming in 2020. I think all of 2019 this video hit maybe 400 views. So thank you guys again for all the views on this Monarch video. How long are they normally in a chrysalis for? Said 7 to 9 days. It's all so varied on location, but if you are having a colder snap in your area, I mean sometimes in Rhode Island, sometimes even in Florida, there would be nights that the temperature would drop randomly. So those days might cause the chrysalis to take a little bit longer, but as long as you're in a pretty warm, humid area, should be 7 to 9 days. They also responded, do you know how long on average from when they hatch to when they are happily flying? Mine emerged about 13 hours ago and just keeps climbing his mesh enclosure and fluttering his wings while staying on the fabric. He's physically fine, but in the videos I've seen, I kind of expected it to be flying by now. Is this abnormal? I'm probably overthinking it, but I'm not sure. Sometimes they'll just be stubborn and want to hang out. I've had some that literally just want to sit around and hang out with you and won't leave the mesh enclosure, especially if you have a plant in there. But yeah, sometimes you'll just have to give them a boost and help their wings feel the air and just hold them out, and they'll fly away usually. If not, there could be something wrong, like a parasite. That was the case with the one butterfly that I had. She did emerge from her chrysalis, but for some reason she had a hard time getting the chrysalis off of her is it like thorax? Is that a cleaner, or is that a, like her butt? The like lower half of the body, she just couldn't get the shell of her chrysalis like off, and so she was never able to properly hang and properly let her wings drip, and it like weighted her down and she just couldn't fly, she wouldn't eat, and so unfortunately she did die in the enclosure. I tried bringing her, putting her on different flowers outside, but yeah, sometimes there's nothing you could have done, anything. Sometimes it just, they are bugs at the end of the day. Sometimes they don't make it, and sometimes they just need a little push also, so don't think that you're killing them or anything. And here's a comment that I want to reiterate for another 100th time. Everyone should know this. Please don't keep butterflies captive, especially monarchs. They are at risk of extinction. And yes, I know you don't. Thanks. So I did respond to this saying, it is fine and very good for the environment if you do take in caterpillars and raise them, but never ever 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 keep a butterfly against its will or anything like that. If it's sick and already dying and you know the signs of that, that's one thing, but never raise a butterfly to keep it, and never take a butterfly or caterpillar. Yeah, you just gotta let them go. Like she said, they're going extinct, so. And yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of the comments. Yay! So yeah, I hope this answered all the questions, and I hope to have lots more monarch and swallowtail and all types of butterfly content for you guys in the future. Someone had, I think, wrote to me on Instagram saying that they had painted lady butterflies and were asking me for some help on that. Unfortunately, I really only have experience with monarchs, and I had one Gulf fritillary. So yeah, I don't really have much experience with painted ladies or other kind of butterflies. I need to get more diverse on my butterfly raising, and it's just hard. They all eat different stuff. The caterpillars eat different stuff than the butterflies when they're grown, and all the caterpillars and butterflies, none of them eat the same stuff because they all gotta have enough to go around, and it's a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for learning with me. These butterfly videos are all just me documenting the learning process and trying to give you guys a look in on some of the research that I'm doing. I am by no means a professional and not telling anyone what or how to do things. If you guys have pointers for me, there's a lot more learning to be done, and if you want to figure out these pollinators with me, subscribe and comment and give a thumbs up and all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.